My name is Grace Taylor. I'm 29, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the one people rely on, the planner, the anchor, the quiet presence in every storm. My life has always been organized, predictable, and, dare I say, safe. My work in data analytics suits me perfectly. Spreadsheets are my love language. I measure, I track, I plan, and yet, for the past 3 years, I had been planning someone else's life too. Edward Hall, my boyfriend. Edward isn't a planner. He's spontaneous, full of charm and adventure, the kind of man who lights up a room without even trying. Where I think long-term, he lives for the moment. For years, I thought we balanced each other. I was the roots, he was the leaves. It was a nice metaphor, until reality began to twist it into something heavier. For 18 months, I had been quietly saving. A massive project at work landed me a significant bonus, just shy of $50,000 post-tax. I didn't tell Edward the exact number. I only said I had a windfall and wanted to celebrate a small victory. My goal? A down payment on a condo, something solid, something real, a future that didn't depend on whim or Instagram likes. Last Tuesday, I decided to share my good news. I texted Edward. Hey, great news. Big project bonus landed. Want to celebrate tonight? I got us a reservation at Johnny's at 8. Our spot. Cozy, familiar, maybe $150 for dinner and wine. Birthdays, anniversaries, memories, our place. His reply was almost instantaneous. Johnny's again? Come on, Grace, step it up. I stared at my phone. Step it up? I thought I had done everything right. Planned, saved, and celebrated us responsibly. I texted back. What do you mean? Johnny's is our place. We love it. I heard you got the bonus. Why are you still pinching pennies? You need to live a little. Check my Pinterest board. I've curated all the places we should go, experiences we should have. Step up or step aside. My heart sank. Pinterest. That dream board had been his fantasy of a life I wasn't supposed to plan. Michelin star restaurants, rooftop bars with cocktails I couldn't pronounce, experiences costing 4 figures. He wasn't asking me to join him. He was demanding that I fund his vision, immediately, or leave. I called him. His breathing was sharp, impatient. Grace, listen. I deserve this. We've spent 3 years with me watching you pinch pennies. Now you have money. Use it. Don't make me wait. Edward, I was saving that for a condo for us, I whispered, voice tight with frustration. Boring. Spreadsheet. I want Lang & Jerry. Aperture. 12-course tasting menus. I want to live. Step up or step aside. The words hit me like a physical blow. Step up or step aside. And in that moment, my chest lightened, strangely. Relief. An unfamiliar, dizzying sense of clarity. You're right, I said, my voice calm. Too calm, almost frighteningly so. I should step aside. There was a pause, then his tone, incredulous. You're breaking up with me because I want a nice dinner. That's insane. No, Edward, you gave me an ultimatum. You told me to be your personal bank account or get lost. I'm getting lost. I'm stepping aside. Good night. I hung up, and for a moment, silence enveloped me. 3 years, gone. But the main emotion wasn't heartbreak. It was relief. Like finally setting down a backpack I hadn't realized I'd been carrying for years. And then I did the only logical thing. I opened my laptop, found a reservation at Lang & Jerry, the place he had drooled over on Pinterest, and booked it for one. Me. Alone. I dressed carefully, choosing the shirt I knew would make me feel powerful and unshakable. I drove myself there, my sensible paid-off car carrying me to freedom. The first 10 minutes were strange. Alone in the quiet warmth of the restaurant, I felt exposed. And then the amuse-bouche arrived, a tiny, perfect bite, a work of art. I took a photo, posted it to my Instagram story with a simple location tag, Lang & Jerry, no caption, just me, claiming it, for myself. Even as I sipped my wine, my phone buzzed with texts from Edward. Friends, this is insane, come get me. I hope you're just trying to spite me. This is cruel. You're eating there without me? Sociopath. I ignored them. This was no longer about Edward. It was about me. I poured myself into the meal, ordered the wine pairing, and allowed the taste, the ambiance, the liberation to fill me completely. That night, I realized something vital. I didn't need anyone else to make my life extraordinary, and for the first time in years, I felt like it was truly mine. The morning after Lang and Jerry, the city felt different, lighter, louder somehow, but not in a threatening way. More like the world had shifted just enough to let me step fully into it. I hadn't realized how small I had been, hiding in spreadsheets, planning everything for stability, while Edward lived in Pinterest dreams I was never meant to fund. I poured myself a coffee and scrolled through my story from the night before. The likes and heart reactions were satisfying, but more than that, I felt a thrill I hadn't known I could have alone. For the first time, I was living not for someone else, not for an ultimatum, not even for appearances. I was living for me. I decided to continue. Why stop at one night? My savings weren't just numbers. They were a ticket to experiences I had never allowed myself to claim. Wednesday, I booked a table at Aperture, a rooftop bar Edward had been obsessed with, famous for a cocktail called the Gilded Cloud. Smoke swirled in a little glass box before it was poured, delicate and mysterious. The first sip tasted like expensive gin, slightly bitter, but exhilarating. I posted a story, me raising the glass, city skyline behind, captioning nothing. Just a subtle, here I am. By Friday, I treated myself to something I had never done before, bespoke tailoring. A new suit, measured and cut for me alone. The tailor showed me fabric swatches, and I ran my fingers over the textures, imagining a version of myself that could walk into any room and command it without saying a word. I posted a photo to Instagram, a small nod to the meticulous, quiet part of me that still loved planning, even if now it was for myself. Saturday, I went all in. Unauthorized, 3 Michelin stars, the kind of restaurant that makes your pulse quicken before the first bite. I had been blocked on Edward's number, but social media was still visible. A rookie mistake, maybe. I ordered the chef's tasting menu with full wine pairing, savoring each bite like it was a tiny victory over 3 years of expectations I had never agreed to. And then I noticed it. Someone was watching, not just casually scrolling. Edward's ex-girlfriend, Ruby, had somehow seen my posts. I didn't know how, maybe mutual friends, maybe she still lurked online. But suddenly, my solo exploration of freedom was under scrutiny. I felt the first ripple of tension, a whisper that my private journey might not stay private. And yet, there was a strange thrill in that too. If this was what it felt like to reclaim my life, to step into the light without apology, I was ready to see how far it could go. Each day became a carefully curated exploration. The wine, the restaurants, the fashion, the indulgence. Every post, every story, a reminder that I was no longer bound by anyone else's vision of me. I was the architect of this life. But deep down, a quiet warning threaded through my thoughts. Freedom was exhilarating, but so was danger. Because when someone like Ruby noticed, she didn't just observe, she acted. And that, I suspected, was coming next. I had planned every detail of my evening. Reservation confirmed at Ludo d'Argent, my favorite outfit pressed, hair and makeup perfect. I arrived early, feeling a rush of anticipation and calm. Alone, yes, but finally fully, completely myself. The restaurant was a sanctuary of muted golds and polished dark wood. I felt the familiar thrill of anticipation as I approached my table, ready to immerse myself in the artistry of the meal. The amuse-bouche arrived, a delicate bite that danced on my tongue. I smiled. This was freedom. And then I saw her, Ruby, Edward's ex, standing at the head of the restaurant, stunning in a red backless dress, hair and makeup flawless, her presence screaming attention. She spotted me immediately, and her smile spread across her face like a victory banner. "Surprise, Grace!" she called out, loud enough for half the room to hear. "I thought you could use some guidance." My heart stopped. No apologies, no explanation, only triumph. I took a steadying breath, my voice low but unwavering. "What are you doing here?" "I'm saving you from yourself," she said, tilting her head like I was a misbehaving child. "You can't just break up with Edward and then go on all these dates alone. It's tacky. Now sit down." Her words dripped with condescension, and for a moment I felt the old panic, the weight of public scrutiny. But I steadied myself. My calm had been earned through months of careful planning, of reclaiming autonomy. I would not falter now. "Excuse me," I said to the maitre d', keeping my voice measured. "There's been a profound misunderstanding. This person is not my guest. She is—" Ruby laughed, high-pitched and tinkling, the kind of laugh meant to unnerve. "Don't be dramatic. I'm Edward's friend. He booked this for me. You're making a scene." I turned back to the maitre d', calm and deliberate. "Ma'am, I'm afraid if you are not part of the reservation, I must ask you to leave." Ruby's face hardened. "You're a monster, Grace. A cold, selfish, spreadsheet-loving monster. You're probably just documenting this meal instead of enjoying it." Two security guards appeared, massive and silent, standing near her without touching. The room held its breath. She grabbed her tiny purse, and I watched the mask of the forgiving, beautiful ex melt away into pure rage. "This isn't over," she spat. "You'll regret this. You'll always be alone." And then she was gone. The room exhaled. The maitre d' glided over, a small flute of champagne in hand. "On the house, to new beginnings," he said with a tiny smile. I lifted the glass and felt it clink lightly against air. Yes, to new beginnings. Halfway through the meal, I allowed myself a small indulgence. I unblocked Ruby on Instagram, just long enough to post a story of my champagne flute. "New beginnings," I captioned. Then I blocked her again, along with anyone connected to her, friends, family, social circles. The rest of the evening was pure bliss, each course a masterpiece, each sip a reminder of control reclaimed. The final dish arrived, and with it, a quiet, almost sacred satisfaction. I was alone, yes, but for the first time in years, truly unbound. And beneath the joy, a subtle awareness lingered. Freedom could be intoxicating, but it also made you visible. Someone was always watching, someone like Ruby. And when she watched, trouble followed. Weeks passed. Grace Taylor, solo, confident, and unapologetic, continued living the life she had chosen. But freedom has a way of attracting consequences. A certified letter arrived one morning, formal, intimidating. Ruby was suing me. $8,000. The filing claimed emotional and financial investments had been stolen, citing intellectual property, culinary, and lifestyle planning. Apparently, my enjoyment of my bonus money, inspired by her Pinterest board, had caused her emotional distress. My first reaction was disbelief. Then I laughed, until the laughter turned to anger. This was harassment, pure and simple. I called my lawyer, Ms. Alvarez, an absolute force of nature in human form. She loved the absurdity immediately, calling it the case of the Pinner restitution. Her excitement calmed me. If anyone could fight this, it was her. Small claims court was merciless. Ruby arrived in a drab gray pantsuit, hair in a severe bun, face devoid of makeup. She looked like she was attending a funeral. Her friend Maya hovered close, a silent witness. Judge Evans, sharp-eyed and exacting, surveyed the room with an expression that suggested she'd heard it all before, and had no patience for nonsense. "Case 204B, Judge Evans began. Foster versus Jones. Ms. Ruby, you are claiming $8,000 for stolen experiences. Explain what that means." Ruby stood, trembling, tears forming quickly. "Your Honor, Edward and I were together for 3 years. I curated our dreams. I managed everything. I helped him plan his life, including this bonus. And he used it for himself, humiliated me, and posted it online. He stole my experiences." Judge Evans's expression remained neutral, unimpressed. Ms. Alvarez rose, elegant and firm. "Your Honor, this is a textbook frivolous lawsuit. My client, Ms. Foster, received a personal bonus. She chose to spend it on herself. There is no legal obligation to fund another adult's Pinterest-inspired fantasies." The courtroom was silent. Ruby sputtered. "But the relationship, the emotional labor, the curation." "Not billable services," Ms. Alvarez replied coolly. "There is no contract, no shared bank account, and no law that requires Ms. Foster to pay for someone else's vision of her life." Judge Evans adjusted her glasses, scanning Ruby with the sharpest look I had ever seen. "Ms. Ruby, you are not entitled to Ms. Foster's income. Curating a Pinterest board is not a service to be compensated. This ends now." The case was dismissed with prejudice. I was awarded $2,000 for legal fees. Ruby crumpled, held up by Maya, her performance over. I walked out with Ms. Alvarez by my side, head high, chest light. Outside, the autumn sun felt like approval. My life, my money, my choices, no one could dictate them. I returned home, made myself a perfect medium-rare steak, and posted one final story. A screenshot of my investment account with the caption, The tour to Bougie was fun, but investing in myself is the best experience I've had all year. Hash stepped aside, stepped up, future planning. Ruby, Edward, the Pinterest board, none of it mattered anymore. I had reclaimed my time, my finances, my dignity, and most importantly, myself. For the first time in years, I realized that happiness wasn't about someone else's expectations. It was about knowing your own worth, standing firm, and savoring every single bite of life, alone if necessary. And that, I decided, was worth more than any 3-star Michelin experience.